Welcome everyone to a very special explainer. Okay, let's dive right in, because today we're exploring a truly magical story about what might just be the greatest superpower in the world. And you know what? It's the superpower of being absolutely, completely, and utterly terrible at something. I know, that sounds totally backwards, but stick with me, because by the end of this adventure, you're going to see exactly what I mean. Our story today is called The Alchemy of Incompetence, and it holds a secret that both kids and parents are going to want to remember forever.
So, think about it. Have you ever tried something brand new and been just completely terrible at it? Maybe it was riding a bike for the first time, or trying to paint a picture, or learning a really complicated new game, and you just felt, well, silly. I really want you to think about that feeling for a second. We have all been there, right? And hey, it is perfectly okay to admit it. In fact, admitting it is actually the very first step of our journey today. It sets the stage for a wonderful adventure, all about discovering our hidden strengths.
Good at almost everything. The trap of being too good.
So let's meet our hero for today's story, a girl named Sophie. Now, Sophie was a little different from some kids because she was used to being good at almost everything right from the start. Whatever she tried, she just sort of got it, which sounds amazing, right? But being naturally good at things can actually be a really tricky trap. Here's the exact trap. Early competence makes being genuinely bad feel much harder to tolerate. Basically, when you build up a history of just being naturally good at things early on, the experience of being genuinely bad at something new becomes super uncomfortable. When you suddenly can't do something perfectly on the first try, well, it feels like this giant, shocking obstacle.
And there is a huge difference between losing privately, where literally no one can see you making mistakes, and losing while being watched. When other people are actually watching you be visibly, awkwardly, and conspicuously bad at something, it creates this deep, uncomfortable feeling in your tummy. It is okay to admit that it feels awful. And our friend Sophie is about to find out exactly how huge that feeling can be.
Section 2. The Thursday Chess Disaster. Sophie meets her match.
Let's set the scene here. It's a Thursday in October, and Sophie decides to join the chess club. Now remember, she has never played a real game of chess in her entire life. She really only has a vague awareness of the pieces and what their names are. So she sits down at the board to play her very first match. She sits down across from her opponent. His name is Felix. He is a 7th grader, and he's been playing chess since he was 6 years old. And Sophie's very first match against this incredibly experienced player lasted exactly 9 minutes. It was basically an action movie sequence of total disaster. Minute 0, the match starts. By move 7, Felix swoops in and captures Sophie's queen, the single most powerful piece on the board. And by move 12, checkmate. The game is completely over. Felix defeated her in an absolute flash. And the craziest part of all this, he did it without even appearing to try very hard. Oh man, just imagine how Sophie felt. There is a specific, visceral discomfort of sitting with the board after a visible loss. The game is over, Felix has won easily, and Sophie just sits there for a moment. She is hyper-aware that she just lost, very quickly, while a whole room of people could see her. It is a crushing, awkward, heavy feeling. Have you ever felt that hot heat in your cheeks when you make a mistake in front of others? Yeah, that is exactly where Sophie is right now.
Section 3. The Wise Coach's Question. A Shift in Perspective.
But here is where the magic actually happens. Enter Mr. Park, the club coach. He walks over and sits down quietly across the chessboard from Sophie. Now, you might expect him to pat her on the back, offer some pity, or maybe start drawing up new strategies to beat Felix. But Mr. Park doesn't do any of that. He's a very wise coach. Instead, Mr. Park looks right at her and asks one simple, incredibly surprising question. He asks her in a calm, gentle voice, "What did you notice?"
It was such a different question from what she expected that Sophie actually stopped, took a deep breath, and really thought about it. And the crucial point is what she tells him next. First, she noticed that Felix seemed to be thinking several moves ahead while she was only thinking about her current move. Second, she noticed she'd been so hyper-focused on protecting specific pieces that she completely lost track of the whole board. And third, she noticed that at some point she completely stopped seeing her options and just started reacting out of pure panic.
Mr. Park nodded slowly at every single thing she said, and then he smiled and delivered this amazing realization. "You just described the 3 main things beginners work through," he told her. "You notice them in 9 minutes. Most people take a lot longer." Wow, do you see what just happened there? What felt like a massive, embarrassing disaster to Sophie was actually a super fast, highly valuable learning session. She wasn't just losing, she was learning at lightning speed.
Section 4. The magic of showing up. The adventure continues.
Sophie now had a really big choice to make. Was she going to run away because being bad felt uncomfortable? Or was she going to be brave? Well, I am so happy to report that Sophie chose to be brave. Her incredible journey had begun. The next Thursday, she showed up. The Thursday after that, she showed up again. She kept placing herself right in that uncomfortable space between not knowing how to play well and figuring it out. And 3 months in, she beats Felix. But here is absolutely the most important part of the whole story. She won because she was willing to sit in the uncomfortable space of learning. She didn't just suddenly wake up as a chess prodigy. No way. She unlocked the real magic of simply sticking with it, showing up, and being totally okay with being bad while she was still figuring it all out.
Section 5. The power of beginner's mind. Your hidden superpower.
This is the moral of our fable, the big secret that Mr. Park and Sophie want to share with all of you. Let's define this superpower together so you can remember it forever. Beginner's mind. What is it? Well, it isn't just slapping a fake, happy smile on your face while you fail. It is an active willingness to sit with incompetence long enough to get through it. It means saying to yourself, you know what, I am really bad at this right now and that feels yucky, but I'm going to stay right here and keep trying until I get to the other side. So the absolutely crucial point to take away from this explainer is this. The people who grow the fastest aren't the most naturally talented ones. Nope. They're the ones who are the most comfortable being bad at something at first. Every single expert in the world, every grandmaster chess player, every famous artist, every brilliant scientist was once a beginner who just decided to keep showing up after being really, really bad at it. The beginner part isn't the obstacle, you guys. It's just the beginning.
And so, my wonderful learners, I leave you with this final, provocative question to think about with your families. What is something you've been avoiding starting because you know you'd have to be bad at it first? Is it learning an instrument? Trying a new sport? What is the absolute smallest way you could begin being gloriously, wonderfully bad at it this week? Because once you start, you're already on your way to becoming great.
Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure through the alchemy of incompetence. If you loved learning about Sophie's hidden superpower, please join our learning community. Subscribe to StorySpark Studio, make sure to ring that bell so you never miss a new explainer, share this with your friends so they can learn about beginner's mind too, and please comment below with your absolute favorite part of the story. Keep showing up, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.